Alright, hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Isaiah, this is my friend Tyler, and today we're going to be doing our award predictions because NFL season is just around the corner. Our next two videos will be the AFC and NFC record predictions, so stay tuned for those. Alright, so let's get into it.
How was speaking of NFL season starting, what are your thoughts on the Jets and Browns game?
Oh my gosh, I knew you were going to mention this. It was fine. I mean, at least the game was close. It wasn't like a complete
Yeah.
blow. There were a couple things I like DTR. I feel like we'll end up taking Kellen Mond's spot as the backup quarterback. Dewan Jones was an absolute unit. Like that man is huge out there. And
Yeah, I mean
Zach,
honestly,
oh, you can go. You can
sorry. You
go.
can go, you can go.
And Zach Wilson looked like he genuinely like improved. Like I know we saw very little of him, but like he wasn't like the same Zach Wilson. He was calmer in the pocket. So maybe when Aaron Rodgers retires, we might see a whole new Zach Wilson come out of this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean honestly the thing with Zach Wilson though is like you gotta still keep in mind this is the Browns like practice squad players. This is the
Yeah,
Browns backup. This is not like Zach Wilson's going out there and having even a decent game against the starters. It's a completely different ball game. So I mean, I'm gonna need to see Zach Wilson like face some starters before I start making any sort of assumptions on him. But yeah, I do think there's definitely some Browns players that look really solid. Dewan Jones is one in particular. Like, dude is huge.
yeah.
Dude is an absolute unit, and they showed some like basketball clips of him. So he's definitely like athletic
Hmm.
enough. And if we could get him like on the starting line, like I feel like Nick Chubb's gonna be in for a good year.
I feel like also it benefits him that he's not gonna have to start immediately though either. He gets that benefit of you guys having a good O line. He doesn't really need to start. He can be a rotational player, learn to play the game, and maybe by the end of the season he'll be like a legitimate starter in the league. I also
Yeah,
like
and
the
also,
I also like the two running backs you guys ran. I don't remember their names, but they were looking really solid out there. They were being physical. Their job. They knew what this game meant for them, and they were really showing it.
Tillman also looked really good, our rookie receiver that we drafted.
Oh, Cedric
Um,
Tillman. Yeah.
yeah, but also, yeah, like you were saying about DTR, like he looks solid. And honestly, if DTR has, starts picking up and honestly is like a solid backup, we could possibly use him as like a trade target later on.
Maybe a
So,
trade target. Maybe just in case Watson gets hurt. You know,
yeah,
always nice. It's always nice just to have a good backup. You know, the
for sure.
Cowboys when Dak out went 3-1 with Cooper Rush. The Chiefs when Mahomes went out in the playoffs, Chad Henne led a touchdown drive. It's just always good to have a guy there in case your quarterback gets hurt.
Cough, cough, 49ers.
Yeah, I know. The 49ers can turn any quarterback good, to be honest. So we're going to see a career year out of Sam Darnold. I can already see it happening. Every quarterback's going to get hurt on that team.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the awards.
All right, we'll start off with Offensive Rookie of the Year, I guess. And we talked about this. We already agreed on it that Bijan Robinson was probably going to win it. There's a lot of things
Mhm.
to like about Bijan. You can go. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know I've talked about in the previous videos, I've talked about how much like I'm not a crazy like on the fantasy perspective, I'm not like super high on Bijan, but I mean, just being, looking at the options we have, I think Bijan's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, even if he has just like a solid year, which I expect him to have a solid year. I just don't expect him to have a top five fantasy, top five running back, year. But I do think Bijan definitely has a really good case to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I think he will take it. Just because if you look at the other options, I mean, it's quarterbacks on bad teams in a bad situation, and unless they like take those teams and move them to even like close to playoff contention, I don't think that they're going to be winning it.
Yeah, and I just don't think like I'm looking at these teams. The only quarterback I think really has a chance of making the playoffs is Bryce Young, and that's winning a weak NFC South division. But I think if Bijan, I spoiler, I have the Falcons winning this division. I think that they are just the best team, and I think Bijan's going to play a big role in that. Will be the focal point of that offense. He's got a good O line, one of the best to run behind. There's a lot to like about Bijan's situation. He's obviously super talented. Honorable mention to Jahmyr Gibbs, though. He could be another good running back to step in and be good. My only
Yeah.
fear, my only fear of Gibbs is that he has to split carries with Montgomery.
hmm I agree.
All right, moving on, we got defensive rookie of the year. We actually do not have the same answer for this one. I have Will Anderson, and you have Jalen Carter. I like Jalen Carter a lot, and I think he is really good. My biggest concern is the Eagles have so many good pass rushers that he's going to be like a rotational piece. That's my only fear. Otherwise, yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing with Jalen Carter though is, they traded up, or no, they didn't. It was yeah,
They
yeah,
traded
no,
up
they
one
traded up.
spot to get him.
Yeah, but still, like, it just shows that they are like, I mean, they took him in the first round. They didn't take him in the first round to, switch in and out every like few plays. They brought him in just to be a day one starter. So honestly, I feel like Jalen Carter. I mean, I saw some highlights of him in Georgia, and the talent is there.
The talent is
And I feel like, and this is like a very solid Eagles defense. So there's not going to be many opportunities where they're going to get like, double teaming him. And so I feel like he's definitely going to get an opportunity to get, to get some sacks and to be a great run stopper.
All right, my argument for Will Anderson is the Texans, surprisingly, this is going to be a really surprising fact. They were top 5 in pressure rates last season. Like, they know how to generate pressure. It's so weird. For And they added D'Amico Ryans, who was the 49ers defensive coordinator. So he coached Nick Bosa, who's just coming off defensive player of the year level season. So I think he will be able to maximize Will Anderson. So I could see Will Anderson having like 12 and a half sacks, which for a rookie can easily win you off defensive rookie of the year.
Hmm. I like Will Anderson, but I just don't trust the team he's on to,
They also
get
they
him.
they also traded up to get him. They traded up of 2 firsts to get him.
Yeah.
So they obviously really wanted him. Yeah, I could see the concern about the team, you have to be outstanding to get recognition for playing for the Texans. Difference when you're
Hmm.
playing for the Eagles, who I think have 5 primetime games this season. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And I definitely agree that with these awards, there are people who like if you're on a more popular team, more likely to win it. Like Justin Jefferson, the Vikings were amazing last season. Was like the clear cut favorite, even though there were other offensive player of the year candidates. We can get into
Yeah.
that later.
Nick Bosa.
All right, then we got defensive player of the year. We both have Micah Parsons, and I've stuck to my rule that I'm gonna keep picking Micah Parsons until he wins it. I refuse to believe that he will never win a defensive rookie of the year. He is so good.
Defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year. He won defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great coverage linebacker. He's one of the best pass rushers in the league. I mean, I have no reason to believe he cannot win it. And he plays with a great defense and a team that is very popular, so he will get chances to shine on prime time.
Yeah, I mean, I also agree with you with the Micah Parsons Defensive Player of the Year. I loved what I saw of him last year and some of those highlights. And, him coming off winning Rookie of the Year, I feel like it's honestly just set up. I feel like the Cowboys, they are going to have a solid team. I do have them winning the East this year.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
But,
that's gonna be interesting to talk about.
yeah, I mean, I just don't really. Actually, no, the Eagles, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
both of those
that's
teams are
tough.
really good.
That's tough. I feel like the Eagles are definitely in for like a downgrade, but
Your camera turned off, by the way. Thought I should mention that.
Q pause it, Q pause it.
Yeah. All
Yeah, just
right.
edit out. Oh,
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a
wait,
bit
hold
of
on,
a.
hold on, hold on.
uh,
Sorry.
Sorry, there was a bit of a distraction during it. But yeah, we'll just move on from Defensive Player of the Year. Micah Parsons should win it. It could be someone else, though. It could be like TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, All
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
moving on to Offensive Player of the Year. Who'd you say was winning this? I forgot, actually.
Offensive player of the year. I have Jamar Chase,
Jamar
here.
Jamar Chase. I
I
like
do.
I like Jamar Chase, but I feel like he plays in a super crowded offense with you got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, just a really good offense. But I could definitely see it. I'm gonna disagree here, and I'm gonna go with Tyreek Hill. Could be biased, definitely biased, but you know, I think he would have won it if Tua didn't suffer as many injuries as he did. He was less than 100 yards behind Jefferson, had more touchdowns, had more receptions than him. But if Tua didn't get hurt, I feel like he would have surpassed Jefferson in yards last season. That's my argument right there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like you talk about how Jamar Chase is in a crowded offense, but you got to think Tyreek Hill does have a lot of competition with Jalen Waddle, who is still young and is still improving.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're both in for like big years, and the ball share is going to be like thrown around a little bit. And also, you guys like I know you brought in like Cook. You're looking at like possibly getting a
Yeah,
solid running back.
possibly trying to get Cook. Um,
So if you guys get like a decent running back, I mean, then there's that much more plays that are going to the running back instead of your heavily relied on passing game. But the thing with Jamar Chase is he is the clear cut wide receiver one on this team. I don't think he's really even like competing with anybody else on his team. I mean, sure they're gonna get like they're only there to help elevate the offense for when Jamar Chase is getting double teamed, and I feel
yeah,
like that's when they're gonna go to him. But these deep plays we saw. Jamar Chase is the guy who they're going to go to, and honestly, I feel like Joe Burrow, as long as I just hope that he comes through his injury that he's dealing with right now. If he gets
yeah,
out of training camp, like fully healthy and ready to go, then I for sure think Jamar Chase can definitely make a case to win this.
yeah. That's fair. I do want to give a sleeper pick. Garrett Wilson. We were talking about this before we started
Mm-hmm.
recording. He is just he's so good, and he has a much better quarterback than he ever did last year. And I could see him exploding. Second year breakouts, they happen a lot. I'm not picking him, but like if he wins it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, for sure. The second year breakouts we were talking about this earlier, but look at guys like Jefferson, who had massive second years,
Waddle went for 1,300 yards. Smitty
and
went
also
for
you got to think, yeah, Garrett Wilson is getting a way better quarterback this year than he's had before. So if he can put up those like solid production with who do they have like Zach Wilson,
Mike
Joe
White.
Flacco,
Yeah.
Mike White, these guys, then he can put up better numbers than that with Aaron Rodgers. So
Yeah. Okay, and fine. No, we have two more awards. We have the last player award though, MVP. I have Jalen Hurts. You have Patrick Mahomes. They were actually the 1 and 2 last year for MVP. I could see both of them winning it. I think Jalen Hurts is in a very good offense. I think the Eagles are gonna finish with the best record in the league. Jalen Hurts will have probably like double digit rushing touchdowns, over 30 passing touchdowns. And just I think it's gonna benefit him having another year with AJ Brown, having another year with Devonta Smith. He can build up that chemistry. That's where I go with this. But I could see Mahomes winning it too.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I do like Jalen Hurts. Had him on my fantasy team, and he was a very solid player last year. Taking the Eagles to the Super Bowl. But I mean, it's just Mahomes that we're talking about here. He's just on a different tier.
That's
This
true.
is a quarterback who has Travis Kelsey, and we already know their connection is just unreal.
He doesn't need
And
receivers. Like we've established this.
no, but even though, still, I mean, Sky Moore, I've been hearing some great things out of him in training camp this
Kadarius
year.
Tony has
There, Tony.
when he's not hurt is pretty good.
So I mean, he's getting more weapons around him to work with, and plus on top of Travis Kelsey, and we know Andy Reid is a great coach. We know like he fits Mahomes' like play very well. So I mean, honestly, I just can't go against Mahomes. I feel like he's going to take it this year again, and the Chiefs are. I don't see any reason why the Chiefs aren't going to be a massive Super Bowl contender this year.
Yeah. All right, and finally we got Coach of the Year. I actually don't remember what you said. I don't remember if you mentioned it. Mine was Arthur Smith, the Falcons coach. I mentioned that I think they're going to win the division. It's going to be a massive improvement year. He's going to develop Bijan. He's going to have one of the most. He's probably going to have the most deadly running attack in the league. There's just a lot, and with the improved defense of like Jesse Bates, Calais Campbell, I think I pronounced it right. Calais.
Calais, yeah, Calais,
I think that
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot to like. I think Terrell will have a bounce back year, and I think the Falcons will be a pretty decent team next season, much improved from what we saw last year.
Yeah, I have Andy Reid was my coach,
Yeah, you must think the
and
Chiefs are gonna finish like the best record in the league, like
I do.
15-2.
I
Yeah,
do. Like I need to see a valid argument as to why the Chiefs won't finish with the best record in the league and be a heavy Super Bowl contender this
the
year.
Eagles exist.
Because
That's my argument.
I mean, they're in the other like played other conference though. It's
Yeah,
like
that's true. I think I think the Chiefs are still gonna be the best team in the AFC in terms of record. Well, I'll explain that to you in the next video. I do not have them making it to the Super Bowl though. But yeah,
yeah.
I understand. I understand if the Chiefs go like 16-1, 15-2, which isn't impossible. Especially since we saw they could just kind of run through the league. I mean, their playoff run, they kind of made with even with Mahomes being injured, they made it look pretty easy except for that Eagles game. But even still, they still won.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah, I
beating
mean,
good teams with an injured Mahomes. Like if they had a healthy Mahomes, who knows what this team would have done in the playoffs?
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this is Andy Reid as well. I love Andy Reid. I think honestly, he is probably the best coach in the league right now.
definitely. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I feel like it's coach of the year, Andy Reid. Coaches don't like regress, So as long as other teams don't really like, I don't know. I just feel like Andy
Yeah.
Reid's gonna take it this year.
All right. Well, that's all for today. It's actually our shortest one yet. So yeah, that's gonna be all. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.